It seems like everywhere you turn these days, AI is dominating the headlines.
Yeah.
But instead of getting swept up in all the hype, we thought, why don't we take a deep dive into a field where AI is already having a major impact? The world of marketing.
Okay. Sounds good.
So to help us break it all down, we're taking a look at Using Artificial Intelligence in Marketing by Katie King.
Definitely a good choice. And even though it was written back in 2019, it was really ahead of its time. Katie King, she's advised some really big global brands on, developing their own AI strategies.
Wow.
And she does a great job, really, of laying out how this technology is going to completely change how brands connect with people.
Right.
And what I found really interesting is she actually pulls insights from experts all over the world.
Oh, wow.
So it's not just, coming from one perspective.
Yeah, that global perspective is so important, right?
Mhm.
Because, I mean, AI is going to be everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not just a regional thing. The book even mentions how Gartner predicts that like 80% of new technologies are going to be built on AI.
Yeah.
That's not just change, that's like a full-on transformation.
Right.
So I got to ask, like, what does this future, this AI-powered marketing future, what does it actually look like?
Well, I think you have to think less about billboards, and things like that, and more about these bespoke experiences.
Okay.
So imagine, for example, your car,
Yeah.
right? It can sense wear and tear, all that, and it can actually prompt you with like a personalized offer for an upgrade before you even start thinking about getting a new car.
Wow.
That's the kind of thing, that predictive power that AI brings to the table.
So it's kind of like AI is reading your mind, but not in a creepy way,
Exactly.
in a way that actually feels helpful.
Exactly, anticipating your needs. And the book actually goes into how TGI Fridays is already testing this out.
Really?
Using AI to personalize how they greet people, remember their drink orders, even wish a customer's kid a happy birthday. So all these little touches, right, they add up, and it makes this experience that feels like it was made just for you, which is exactly what AI makes possible.
Yeah, there's a huge shift from just like mass marketing, just blasting everyone with the same message. It's almost like we're moving away from always being on to what King calls always serving.
Yes.
What's the difference there?
So always on is really just about always being available, but always serving is more about anticipating needs and proactively meeting those needs.
Go. Yeah.
It's the difference between a company just, shouting at you about their product and a company that actually takes the time to understand what it is that you as the customer, you as an individual actually want, and then tries to respond to that.
And that level of really personalized attention, I mean, that's where AI really shines. But it's got to be more than just, being nice, right? This has to have some real business implications as well.
Absolutely. And the book stresses that this approach, this customer-centric approach that's powered by AI, it's going to be really essential for these brands if they want to really thrive.
Yeah.
Like King says, and this is a direct quote, "The starting point for your AI marketing plan must be the needs of your customers' clients. If you don't obsess over them, your current or future competitors will."
Yeah, it's like AI is pushing everybody towards a more human way of doing business, even though it's technology that's driving it, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah.
But, and this is, I think, the biggest question a lot of people have,
Yeah.
what happens to marketing jobs in this future, in this AI-powered future?
Mhm.
Is this the beginning of the robot takeover?
That's something that a lot of people are afraid of.
For sure.
But the book actually argues the opposite.
Oh.
So it's not about getting rid of marketers, it's about giving them more power.
Okay.
So think of it this way. AI can take over these really tedious tasks, like analyzing customer data, optimizing ad spend, personalizing content, all that on a really big scale.
Yeah.
That frees up marketers to work on things like strategy, and creativity, and building those really genuine human connections that, at least for now, AI can't do.
Right. So instead of worrying about being replaced, marketers should be looking at AI as like a super-powered assistant,
Yeah,
that can do all the grunt work and let them really focus on the big picture stuff.
exactly. It's all about working smarter, not harder. But it's not going to be all easy.
Right.
The book really stresses how important it is for people to develop new skills.
Go.
Marketers are going to have to be comfortable working with a lot of data. They'll need to understand how algorithms actually work, and they'll need to be able to use these AI tools in a way that's actually effective. So this isn't just a change in what technology they're using, it's a whole new way of thinking.
A whole new mindset.
Exactly.
So it sounds like being a marketer is going to like take on a whole new level of, I don't know, like sophistication. less about gut feelings and more about understanding all this data. But data itself can be, kind of a double-edged sword. We've all heard the stories about algorithms like going rogue.
Right.
Does King talk about that at all in the book?
She does, and it's something really important to keep in mind. The book really dives into this idea that AI is only as smart as the information that it's learning from.
Okay.
So if you have data that's like reflecting some existing bias, say in like customer demographics or, past marketing campaigns, then the AI is just going to amplify that bias.
Yeah.
And that can lead to, some outcomes that are really unfair.
Right. So it's not enough to just be like, AI, go. You have to be really careful about how you're using it and what it's actually learning from.
Yeah.
Which feels like a huge responsibility as this tech gets more and more powerful.
It is a big responsibility, and it's something that the book really emphasizes. King makes the argument that as we're like handing over more and more of these marketing decisions to algorithms, having humans keeping an eye on things becomes even more important. We need to have people who are in the loop, asking the tough questions, making sure that everything is transparent, how this AI is actually being used, and ultimately, being accountable for the outcomes.
It's almost like there's this whole new kind of literacy, like, you need to be able to read, but you also need to understand how these systems work.
Yeah.
So we're not all just blindly trusting whatever they spit out, right?
Exactly. And part of that, that understanding is recognizing that AI isn't just this one thing.
Cook.
It's a bunch of different tools and techniques, and they all have their own, strengths and weaknesses.
So like what? Give me an example.
Okay, so in marketing, for example, you have machine learning algorithms. And these can look at these massive, massive data sets to predict, like, what a customer is going to do next.
Wow, so this is like Minority Report. But instead of predicting crime, it's predicting what I'm going to buy on Amazon next week.
Yeah, it's not that far off. But the thing is, these tools are really only as good as the people who are using them. We need marketers who know how to ask the right questions, make sense of the data, and then actually use those insights to make sure that the customer's having a good experience.
So it's not just about knowing that AI can do all this stuff, like personalize a customer journey. It's understanding how it does it.
Yeah.
What could potentially go wrong, right?
Exactly.
So it's using AI to like make human intelligence better, not try and get rid of humans altogether.
You got it. And that's what makes this whole thing so interesting right now, It's this really cool mix of human creativity and what technology can do. And as AI gets better, the possibilities for marketing are really limitless. But that being said, there are some serious ethical things to think about.
Yeah, for sure. Like that tension is definitely there. And it makes this whole conversation really interesting. But we've talked a lot about what AI can do.
Right.
I'm kind of curious. What are some of the things that AI can't do, at least for now, in the world of marketing? Where does human intuition still win?
That's a really great question. And it gets at, I think, what makes marketing really special. So AI can analyze all this data, it can predict what you're going to do, and it can create these personalized experiences for tons of people.
Right.
But what it can't do is create that spark, that real human connection.
Okay, what does that look like, though? Like, give me an example. What's something AI can't quite wrap its head around yet?
Well, think about storytelling, right? A really powerful brand story, one that people connect with on a deeper level, that takes empathy and understanding of different cultures.
And psychology, too, right?
Yes. And that's not something AI has really figured out yet.
It's that, like, really understanding what makes people tick, right? Not just what they buy, but why they buy it.
Exactly. And that why is usually really complicated, right? It comes from their emotions, their culture, all these experiences that we all share as humans. And these are all things that AI can learn about, by going through data.
Right.
But it can't really feel those things, and it can't copy them either.
So it's not enough to just focus on getting people to click or buy things.
Right.
It's also about creating these messages that actually resonate with people on a deeper level, right?
Yes.
Which actually makes me feel a bit better in this, like, age of algorithms.
Yeah, and it just shows why it's so important to have humans involved in marketing. AI can do more and more, but it's still humans who will be figuring out the strategy, coming up with creative ideas, being empathetic, and just making sure that we're using this technology to make those human connections stronger.
Not weaken them.
Exactly.
So it seems like, the real trick isn't just about using AI in marketing, but like doing it in a way that actually feels human.
Right.
And, that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
it has to feel authentic and real,
Yeah.
Does King address this in the book at all? Like, how can marketers strike that balance?
She does, and a lot of it comes back to that idea of taking responsibility that we were talking about before.
Right.
King really believes that being open and honest is key here. Customers should know when it's AI that they're interacting with and how their data is being used.
Yeah, it's about building trust, right?
Exactly.
Especially when you're dealing with something like AI that can feel, I don't know, kind of mysterious and even a little creepy, right?
Right.
People want to know that you're using their information responsibly.
Yes. And it's not just about being upfront with customers either.
Okay.
It's also about making sure that everyone on your marketing team, even the whole company really, is using AI in an ethical way.
So how do you actually do that?
Well, it means having conversations about the biases that might be in your data.
Yeah.
It means setting rules for how AI can and can't be used and making sure that there are actual people keeping an eye on things every step of the way.
So it's not just about, like, unleashing all these algorithms on a problem and
Right.
crossing your fingers.
Right.
It's more about taking a step back and figuring out how AI can be used to make marketing better in an ethical way.
Exactly.
It's almost like AI is forcing everyone in the industry to, like, really think about what they're doing.
Yeah, I think so too. And that kind of self-reflection, I think
Mm.
it's really a good thing. It's
Yeah.
making marketers think about what they really want to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
It's about moving past just clicks and sales and focusing on building real, meaningful relationships with people.
Yeah, so it's about using this really powerful technology,
Yeah.
not just to make more money,
Right.
but to actually make the experience better for customers in
Yeah.
a way that feels, authentic and valuable.
Absolutely. And I think when that happens, when AI is used thoughtfully,
Right.
I really think that it has the potential to bring about this whole new era of creativity and innovation in marketing.
So as we wrap up our deep dive today,
Mm-hmm.
what's like the main takeaway you hope listeners, walk away with?
Okay.
If you had to sum up how to, make AI work in marketing, what would you say?
To me, it all boils down to this. AI is super powerful, but in the end, it's really just a tool. And whether it's used for good or for bad, that all comes down to us, the people who are actually using it.
Okay.
So as we all move into this, unknown territory,
Mm-hmm.
I think the most important thing is to really, really be curious about AI,
Okay.
to really commit to doing the right thing, and to always remember that technology should be used to make us, more human, not less.
I love that. It's a good reminder that even though technology is getting more, like, advanced, it's still humans and our, creativity and our empathy that'll really determine the future of marketing.
I think so.
And really, I think, the world around us. Thanks for joining us today on this deep dive into AI and marketing.
Thanks for having me.
Until next time, keep asking questions and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible, but of course, always do it responsibly.